Hello and welcome to episode 51. In today's show, we have a very interesting discussion as we run down our top 5 pilots, and we are joined by an extra special guest. Also, don't forget from this point forward, you're listening out for that special word pilot. So, explorers, here we go. Hello, explorers, and welcome to episode 51. And joining me aboard the Gaze Eccentric in the pilot seat, blasting our way through the galaxy, it's a man more confident than that fraud making a plan. It's Jimmy.
Howdy.
And speaking of our blue skin friend Thrawn, in the gunner seat, keeping off those pesky TIE fighters, it's the hot shot herself, Taylor.
Hello there.
So, Taylor, we'll start with you. How's your week been?
I've been keeping busy. The weather's just been absolutely horrible. But yeah, besides that, it's been good. Yeah.
Cool. Not bad, Jimmy.
Yeah, this previous week has been a little insane. I'll talk about it in my Force Encounters, but we're heading into the craziest week I think I've had all school year with swim meets and events and Star Wars and all the goodness that we got coming down the pipe. But we'll talk about that a little more in Force Encounters, Jack. So how are you doing?
Yeah.
I am not doing too bad. I'm just recovering from one hell of a thrashing at football. So our first game, we lost 45-19, I think it was. Amazing experience for saying that last December was the first time I touched a American football. So yeah, got lots of time on the field. Big eye opener. Now I'm going to have a week's leave to recover.
Nice.
So yeah, on to the next game.
It's fun.
Okay, as always, we've had a bunch of new explorers. Again, please forgive some of the pronunciation of some of these crazy names that we've got. However, we'll start from the top. So we've got Aldo Morales, Matthew Franks, the Calf Drinker, Timea as Smiles, Tactics Jedi Reads, Belgian Prop Builder, Hollow Tom's Archive, Olympic 22, Boombox Music Talk, Adopt Brick, Sales One Studio, Oh Snap It's Julesome, For the Republic 555, Brett Voff, Voff Aubrey, Star Wars Depot, Star Wars Nordic, Diamond Figs, Brick at Nittle Pin, She's a Riot Cosplay, Cosmic Dread, Tina Shepherd, Danny 1234 2519, Colorado Mac 21, and last but not least, Michael Dora.
Wow.
Welcome. Thank you guys all for joining us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. We have people joining us left and right. It's been great. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Tell all your friends about us. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Threads, Twitter, X. Just remember, like we said, like, share. Find us all at Explore the Force, one word, and make sure you're commenting. We'll read them off on the shows, just like we will later on when everyone talks about their favorite pilot.
Yeah.
Yep, we've had absolutely thousands of comments as always. So let's head over to this week's Force Encounters. Okay, so this week then I'll start us off because I've had a very interesting Force encounter, and that involved me and my beautiful wife Christy, as she allowed me to thankfully now pay for my flight for Japan. I am going. I have got my tickets confirmed. £620 return as well. Absolute bargain. So
Wow.
I'm happy. I'm going to Japan. Whether or not it's a celebration could be a different thing come May the 3rd when the tickets get released, but I'm going.
Oh my gosh. That's
What
so
about you, Jimmy?
exciting.
Yeah, so I've got lots of stuff coming down, but my Force encounter. So we talked about weather here a little bit, and I live in Tornado Alley, so Kansas, Nebraska. Oklahoma, Texas, we can get it can get a little scary around here. And the last 2 days or so, we've had lots of people, and just we want to say, we're thinking about all the people that have gotten hit up and down Tornado Alley and outside of it. But last night it was raining real crazy, nice, beautiful thunderstorms. And in Kansas, you can see for miles and you can see stuff. So my wife and I, we jumped in the Jeep, we went out to the dirt roads, right, just as it was getting dusk, getting dark, and we're flying through big giant mud puddles and water splashing everywhere, lightning's in the sky. And then we got the
Wow.
playlist going, and it was a bunch of Kevin Kiner music from Clone Wars. And I was like, this is fantastic. And we just, driving through all of it, watching all the lightning and stuff like that. Um, but of course, I'm not trying to make light of everything that has happened out here. And if you check out Lydia Kings on Instagram, she lives in Nebraska, and she
Yeah.
posted a link that you can help families and stuff in need that were hit by tornadoes. So you should check that out. If I can remember, I'll post a link in our everything like that too. But then, of course, we've got some really fun stuff coming down. Of course, it's May the 4th. We're going to be trying to get new Legos. We're going to be trying to get we're going to try to get tickets for Celebration. We're going to be doing Star Wars trivia on Saturday, and we're going to be celebrating something on Sunday. So, lots and lots and lots of Force encounters for me, this weekend, and of course this week coming up. What about you? And Phantom Menace on Friday. So,
Oh yes.
right, Taylor, what about you?
Don't forget that. Oh my gosh, both of you have such amazing women just letting you go to Japan and going mudding in your Jeep. That's so fun. Well, I had a Force encounter and then it changed about half an hour before we started recording. I have these beautiful black with red eyes angelfish, and they're like Sith names, right? And this morning, Darth Vader got the toilet flush, and I'm very sad about it. My Darth Vader black angelfish died. No, down the toilet. So yeah, I don't know. I just woke up and I don't know what happened. Not going to get into it. It was gory down the toilet. Not even a chance. But my other Force encounter was going to be kind of happy. So my daughter, I'll make it quick. My daughter was watching the Smurfs movie. I've never watched it before until this morning. And I'm watching it and I'm like, what the heck is this? And there's a little blonde girl Smurf and there's no other girl Smurf. She's the only girl. She's special for some reason. And there's, Smurfette. And there's like the brainy Smurf with glasses, and there's Hefty Smurf who's like big and has like tattoos, and then there's like clumsy Smurf and stuff. And I'm like, and they're going on a mission. And I'm like, you know what? This is the Bad Batch, but Smurfs. So I just right? It just like worked out so well. So, anyways, if you have kids, watch the Smurf movie and you can kind of relate to the Bad Batch a little bit.
Nice. So. It seems Bad Batch is on everybody's mind this week because it is going to be the final Bad Batch episode hitting everywhere Wednesday. So, without any delay now, let's head over to Batu for this week's news. The Mandalorian Adventures, a new cooperative board game based on the first season of The Mandalorian, is coming from legendary board game designer Corey Konitsky, who designed Star Wars Rebellion and Battlestar Galactica, the board game, among others. According to Polygon, The Mandalorian Adventures is a card-based action game where players will take control of characters from The Mandalorian's first season, like Din Djarin, IG-11. Each mission is based on events from the series itself, so naturally the first mission will have Din Djarin and IG-11 teaming up to rescue Grogu. While the missions are based on the events of the show, they can be played in any order. Not really tracking this, if I'm honest. Quite new news. May have a quick look at it.
I saw it come out. The news article came out on the 26th, so I hadn't heard anything. I mean, everything's about Star Wars Unlimited right now, so kind of flying under the radar. But will you get this, Jack? Will you play this?
I might have a look at it in my local store down Boards and Swords in Derby. Like I said in previous episodes, my friend Ian that runs the shop, he gets literally everything in anyway. So if he's got it there, I know he listens a lot. If you get it out here, we'll have a quick blast of it, and I might try and do a quick review for the show.
Very cool. Very cool. All right. Star Wars has been honored with 3 Webby Awards, including a win for the Star Wars Celebration Live event coverage in Europe last year. Each year, the Webbies, known as the internet's highest honor by the New York Times, features 2 awards per category, one chosen by the International Academy of Digital Arts and Sciences, and the other one chosen by fans called the People's Voice. The official Star Wars recipes won the Webby Award and brought home the Webby's People Voice Award for the social food and drink category. Then Star Wars Celebration Live Europe 2023, memories, brought home the Webby's People's Voice Award in the video events and live stream category. So yeah, that's probably it's got to be one of the longest live streams on the internet, as far as, you know, 3 or 4 days in a row. How many hours, Taylor, did you spend watching it?
I just had it going. Like, I had it up on my biggest TV right in our living room, and it was just going from first thing in the morning to, what was it? Like, I feel like it was 4:00 in the afternoon, but yeah, I just had it going. And then even when it wasn't live, I would have the background screen, like, where it's like loading and it's like kind of going with music and stuff. So it had like cool music on it too. So very long. Next, StarWars.com has your first look at pre-sale apparel and other items featuring the Star Wars Celebration Japan key art and logo. T-shirts, ball caps, pins, and more feature variations of the English and Japanese logo text, including a hybrid of the 2 languages, ranging from 1,560 yen, is that yen?
I believe so.
To $4,700, or yen, I believe, right?
Definitely yen, not dollars. That
There's
Taylor.
also a T-shirt.
Expensive T-shirt.
Celebration's going to be
No,
expensive.
not dollars. Definitely not dollars.
But not
no,
that
not
expensive.
dollars. I'm just used to saying dollars. I know. There's also a T-shirt, tote bag, hand fan, and other items showcasing the recently revealed official key art featuring Darth Vader, priced again at 1,560 to 6,200 yen.
Yeah, there's a big change in
Someone's got to convert that.
Yeah, I'll do that while we're talking on the next one. But if you check out Tony on, was it Star Wars 66?
Stiff Talks, yeah.
He just did a breakdown. They're not going to be sending any of this stuff out. Like, when you show up, you'll get your stuff there. They're worried about stuff not getting sent, and it makes a little bit more sense. I don't want to fly all the way.
Remember last time?
Yeah, that's why they're not doing it. So Will Call, you're going to go there. He has a nice video that breaks it down. Tony does a great job with all that stuff. And if you are headed to Celebration, you should probably give him a follow as well. But I will decide how much yen is when you're doing this next story, because I know how much you love the Skeleton Crew, so I picked this one for you.
Set me up beautifully. Yeah. So it's been all quiet on the Skeleton Crew, thankfully, front for a while, but that may be about to change. This series is led by Jude Law, as we know. However, Oscar-nominated actress Kerry Condon has a key role in it. Now, the performer has opened up about her experience on the set when she was speaking to Variety as she promotes the release of In the Land of Saints and Sinners, which is coming on Netflix UK and Ireland. She was asked about her experience on the set of Skeleton Crew, which she shot before her career-defining role in Banshees. She was apparently very pleased with how the show came out together. So here's what she said. She said, "It's just so great. I don't even have kids, but I'd pay to see this. I loved it. I loved being on it. There was something about it that was so innocent and playful and lovely. People say don't work with kids or animals, but I don't know about that. And also, when children are good actors, they're kind of out of this world good." So watching some of the kids' scenes, it was amazing. Jude Law's in it, and she said she's worked with him before. She said it's really adventurous, and they got such great directors for each episode. The Daniels, the Bruce Dallas Howard, Lee Isaac Chung, David Lowery. She said it was a pretty amazing group, and of course John Watts, who created the whole thing. Am I excited about it? A little bit more than I was probably 5 minutes ago. Obviously, I will definitely give it a chance. But just going off the first paragraph with what she's saying there, it comes across as a more kids live action Star Wars show, which obviously I'm cool with. you know. But I don't know. It's a paragraph. I'm probably reading into it too much. As I've said 1,000 times before, us Star Wars fans are our own worst enemies for what we expect / want.
Yes.
What do you reckon, Jimmy?
You're the only one out of the three of us who's not excited for this show, but you know what I picked up from this is Bryce Dallas Howard yet again in another series. If she knocks this one out of the park like she knocks all the rest of them out of the park, she needs to get a movie
I
Yeah.
was about to say that.
Like
Yeah.
most of her episodes, they're not perfect, but they're really, really good. She has been very consistent.
They're really
Yeah.
like emotional.
Yeah, and I mean, and she pulls from all the stuff that she knows. She's not afraid, and of course, we all know who her father is, so we know she's got the genes to do what she's learned. She's grown up on the set. Yeah, I'm excited for this. I think it's kind of funny that she says don't work with kids or animals because it can
Yeah.
be difficult. But apparently these young people are pretty outstanding, and so that's exciting to see. And also, 1,560 yen equals $9.87 in the United
That's
States.
why you're the pilot, Jimmy. That's why you're the pilot.
Aha!
So, and
Awesome. Thank
last
you.
this last little news story, Jack kind of hinted to it, but the series finale of The Bad Batch, which is wrapping up 3 seasons and new characters this Wednesday, we will be recapping it. The final will come out. Our final recap show will come out on Wednesday. We're going to have Tony from Star Wars Sith 66 to talk about that episode specifically, and who knows what's going to happen. And then,
So
of course,
tomorrow.
the three of us will sit down on Sunday and we'll deep dive the entire season. And I mean, I'm excited. Who knows what's going to happen? But my question to you guys is like, can you believe it's about to end? Like, do you feel like they can wrap? How do they wrap up? I don't want to dive into this too long, but how can they wrap up all that stuff in one single episode? I mean, is it going to be an hour long? I mean, the rumors are it's only like 23 minutes again. But I've also seen rumors too of a Star Wars or as an episode 16 coming out on May the 4th. I cannot remember where I saw that. But me personally, I can't see how they wrap this up and unless this thing's like an hour and a half long or something.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm dumbfounded. I'm nervous for it because I think this is a really great show. I don't want them to rush things.
Yeah.
But what do you guys think? Taylor, what do you think about the show? Like, how do you think they're going to wrap it? I mean, you think it's going to wrap up? Like, are you nervous?
No, you're right. That like how is it all just going to be over? Like where are they in the movies? Like they need to answer so many questions, and if the rumor is right and there's only 23 minutes, like there's like 5 people they need to kill in 25 minutes. So that's 5. So every 5 minutes someone needs to die or something happen to. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. So I don't know. I feel like they're going to leave like a major cliffhanger and everyone's going to be super upset about it. And then we're going to get like an Asajj Ventress show or something. And they're going to show up in that because you're right. I just don't know how they can end it so quickly. And I'm nervous.
Yeah. They've left a lot to answer it in such a short space of time. I think that's all I'll say on that. Because the last episode,
do the math.
there was a lot going on, but then just leaving it on the cliffhanger of I've got a plan, and that was it. I was a bit like, that was fast. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Hopefully it's not 20 odd minutes. It's a bit longer, but we'll see. In Dave we trust.
Yes. Let's hope that we continue looking at him afterwards.
Yeah. Okay, so that wraps up then this week's news. Okay, so the main part of the show then, we're going to go through our top 5 pilots, and joining us today is an extra special guest, Timea from Instagram and YouTube at Timea Smiles. She's a big Disney influencer and a massive Star Wars fan. Timea, the floor is yours. Who are you, where you're from, and where can everybody find you?
Hi, I'm Timea Smiles. You can find me at Timea Smiles, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, all the fun stuff. And I'm based in Orlando, Florida, so I frequent the Disney and Universal parks all the time.
Incredible. You've got a season ticket.
Basically, yeah.
Awesome. The first question I want to ask is, how often do you go?
3 to 4 times a week.
Oh my gosh, I'm so jealous.
That's going to be more than my lifetime.
Oh my gosh.
So I take it you're on first names terms with like all the staff.
Oh, yep, totally.
That's
Totally.
incredible. That's incredible. Right, so we'll get on with the proper questions. What would you say made you a Star Wars fan? What moment or show or film was it?
So originally, my dad got me into Star Wars when I was really little. He's a huge movie buff, so that, and then from that, I would play Lego Star Wars with my younger brother all the time. So that kind of strengthened it. And then
Nice.
when I really kind of got into Star Wars was a year or two ago when I watched Clone Wars. I feel like it kind of connected all the dots that I was like wishy-washy on or felt like I was missing information. And after that, I was like, all right, okay, now we're in 100%.
Nice. Have you got a favourite character?
Ahsoka Tano.
Nice.
No, okay. Then so next question might be a quick, easy one as well. Then do you have a favourite movie or Disney show? We'll break it down. We'll make it a bit harder. What's your favourite movie and what's your favourite Disney show?
Okay, so my favorite is Revenge of the Sith.
Nice.
I know it's like pretty basic, but
It's
I
the
love
best.
the prequels.
Okay.
And then Disney show. That's really hard. If I had to do Star Wars, it would be Clone Wars, obviously, hands down.
Yeah.
But then aside from that, just Disney. I think Lilo and Stitch, like the Lilo and Stitch, the little show that
Yeah.
was like from
Yeah.
the movies.
Yeah.
That one.
My daughter's
Okay,
watching
nice.
those.
How do you feel about the state of Star Wars at the moment? Are we getting too much? Are we not getting enough? Or are we content? Are we happy?
I feel like I'm in the middle right now. I'm happy that we're getting more Star Wars in general, and it's not just quiet. I'm not a huge fan of the Disney movies that were released. I think that the visuals were really good, but in terms of like the story and strength of everything, I feel was kind of weak. I like some of the show series. I think we're good, but I think we can do better.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally agree. Nice. Okay, so like we mentioned then, the main topic for today is going to be talking about the best pilot or who we think the best pilot in the galaxy is. With us, as always, we've had thousands of comments all over our social medias. Here's what the Explorers had to say. So over on Twitter, Real Farm Boy said, was a fair pilot himself when he served in the Imperial TIE Fighter Corps. However, he's going to go for Lieutenant Iden Verso with a joystick. Obviously going back to Battlefield
That's a
2.
good one.
Next, we got Sajamzik. Is it Sajamzik? Yeah,
I-
they've gone with Han Solo. I think I pronounced that right. Next is Colorado Mac. He's gone for Sebulba. He had that dog in him. Like that one. Ventry 038 has gone with Hera. Traveller 93 has gone with Luke Skywalker. And we've got a Death... Oh, these names are absolutely incredible. A Delph Rangers, is it? A Delph Rangers. Carson Taver is their favourite, but he said Anakin is probably the best with the Force as he likes to unlock God mode. And last but not least, another easy name, Ichiju 1972 is gone for Wedge Antilles. Who have you got, Taylor?
On Instagram, I've got Eric Spence says, if we're talking technical skill, I'd give it to Han, brackets and Chewie. But the Force gives Anakin an edge to be overall winner. Yes, obviously, yes. Star Wars Session said, Jimmy Adams is the greatest pilot, full stop. I think we all agree there. He's piloting the gaze eccentric. Nerf Herder Books said Anakin is the best in my opinion. I think Hera is the most talented since she doesn't have the Force. Very true. Very true. She does have Chopper who's helping her though. And lastly, from me, I have Star Wars Passion said Hera Syndulla, most impressive as well since she doesn't have the Force. Yeah, just like the Nerf Herder book said. She's a crazy good pilot versus like compared to these other pilots that we're judging today that have the Force. So
no,
awesome.
she is. She definitely is. What about you, Jimmy? Who have you got?
So on our TikTok, our best friend Clan Brandon Lauren, he says it's a tough one, but give me Poe because of Black One. We have Bailey, Bailey Google Images 94, and Robert Shipman 356 both said Anakin. And then Nemec said Oddball, which I thought was a cool
Good
one.
shout.
Outside of the box, and so, but Timea, you said you put this out on yours as well, and you got a bunch of stuff. So do you want to read off some of your Instagram followers and YouTubers and see what they had to say?
Sure. So Josh_Alex_Ander said, "You already know he's bring peace, freedom, justice, and security to his new empire." Vance Fan said, "Poe, he doesn't need the Force to pull off great feats like Anakin and Luke, pure skill." Brody Baldridge said, "Din Djarin."
Good shout.
Jazzerg said, "R2D2. Think about how many dangerous tours R2's flown successfully. C3PO did nada."
Great shout.
And he just throws C3PO under the
my
bus
God.
there,
Yeah.
dude. Okay, artist Drew Sloan said, "Wedge Antilles. No one else has 2 Death Star kill stamps on their hulls."
Oh,
so Totally
nice.
true. The Zach Center said Han, and it's not even close. Access NJ said, "Wedge it up, baby." A lot of wedge. Will Franklin and Easy America said Poe Dameron. My friend King Richie said Anakin Himothy Skywalker. It's Maui time said Hera Syndulla, and it's not even close. And then Bryn's thinking spot said me flying the Falcon, as in her.
Ooh, there you go. All right.
Okay.
I like that.
Awesome.
Yeah,
I like
nice. Cool. So how it's going to work then for now is basically we're going to give our top 5. I'll start us off just to get the ball rolling, and then I'm going to nominate someone once I've done who I've got as number 5, obviously, and then we'll just pass the torch round, going from 5 all the way down to our who we think's the top one. So hitting us off straight off the bat, I've gone for Boba Fett. A little bit of background about Boba Fett. Obviously, he's flew Slave 1 amongst some other little ships as well, but he's extremely resourceful and skilled, and this is evidently clear because you see him from the Phantom Menace as a child navigating Slave 1, getting it all fired up, good to go when Obi-Wan's on the chase. And not just that, the technique that he used in the book of Boba Fett as well to clear out the Sarlacc pit, amazing. Absolutely loved it. Very skilled, as we know, just like his father. And again, a little bit more background about Boba Fett is he made a lot of enhancements to his dad's ship with the cannons, the seismic charges, to the point of it was the equivalent, they reckon, of like a volcano going off when stuff was dropping. So he definitely knows his way around ships. He knows how to pilot ships, and he's also really technical. His technical knowledge is amazing. He's doing all these modifications on all these weapon systems and stuff like that. Even at a young age, a child flying a ship like that, getting chased down by a Jedi, I thought was pretty incredible. So for me, my first mention at number 5 is going to go for Boba Fett. I'm going to hand over to you, Taylor. Who have you got at number 5?
Number 5. So I included pilots from like the books and stuff too, which I hope that you guys did. But anyways, I did. So my number 5 pilot is going to be Indira Stokes from the High Republic era. She's a Jedi. I believe she's just a Jedi Knight, correct? Not a master yet. Sorry if I'm wrong. But she can fly 2 Jedi vectors at the same time, and she does in one of the books. So she's flying her own, and she's flying one that's empty beside her while she saves the day. So, and I don't think I've seen anybody else do that. So
anyone who hasn't read the High Republic, yeah. Anyone who hasn't read the High Republic, their Jedi vectors are like set up so that don't they have to use
their weapons? It's like a lightsaber lock.
Yeah, they're made to like.
I think cool. Anybody can fly them, but they have like limited sensors and all of the dashboard stuff that you would have in any other ship because they're using the Force to fly these ships, right? And the only way you can use the weapons in them is if you connect your lightsaber to it. So whatever color your lightsaber is, it's going to fire that color like beams and stuff. And I think in one of the books, Loden Greatstorm like rips a chunk of the weapon out and he like uses it still, even though it's not connected to the ship. Anyways, cool ships. And Indira is just known for being a really great pilot. So that's my number 5.
Nice. Who you handing over to?
I'm going to hand it to Jimmy.
All right. Okay, so I've got Wedge Antilles for the same reason that most people put. His story starts way back. We've seen him in, was it Rebels? We've seen him in when he's in part of the Imperial Navy. They go in and they rescue him and bring him out as a kid. He survives multiple battles. We've got two Death Stars. We've got the Battle of Exegol. And he's like the only one that we see constant. I mean, I do say that I know he gets lit up in the original Star Wars, and he has to leave, but he does make it all the different flights. And I'm not a huge EU guy, but I do know that he had many, many battles in those books. He's like beloved through that. So his ship's the X-wing, of course, although he is flying he's a gunner for Lando, right? Because he's in the Falcon during the Rise of Skywalker, I believe. So my number 5 is going to be Wedge, just because it's someone that we've seen from a young age all the way up through all these movies. I mean, he's gotten in the books, he's gotten in the comics, he's gotten in animated. So you can't go wrong with Wedge Antilles. Tamia, who was your number 5?
My number 5 is Chopper.
Nice.
So I know he's like meant to fly and pilot, so he was built for that. But aside from that, okay, he's like just so sassy and smart and funny, and he's really, really good, and he's also a great co-pilot too. So I don't know, I picked him as 5.
Yeah, he's a great one. Wish we would have gotten more of him in the Ahsoka series.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, totally agree with you there, Jimmy.
How many times does he fly the Phantom? 1 or the 2? He's always constantly flying that thing, saving everybody's skin. So yeah, he's a great one, and he'll be, like you said, he'll be snarky while he's doing it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool.
Yeah,
that's a great one.
Okay, so that's our top 5, or our 5th one, should I say. So we're going to go with number 4. Again, I'll start us off on the bat then. This time I'm going for Poe. Reason being, obviously, a bit of background about Poe, if you don't know who he is. We've been living under a rock. Obviously, the ace pilot from the sequels. His main ship is the X-Wing, which is sort of modified with his own sort of colours that we see get blown up in The Last Jedi. What really stuck out for me was the characteristics that he's shown as a leader. I put down 2 scenes that were my favourite. The first one was The Force Awakens, where they're coming across that lake, ready to engage. That was absolutely incredible. I love how they all form up and then they just go on the attack. Yeah, really got some goosebumps there from The Force Awakens. And also, as much as it pains me, the lone warrior that he did in The Last Jedi to take out the Dreadnought, I thought that was incredible. Awesome pilot, knows his tactics, pretty much can fly anything. He proved that again in Force Awakens. But for someone that went through quite a lot, if you've read the books as well, to where he gets to now, for me, Poe, with all his skills, is my number 4. I'm going to hand over straight to Jimmy this time.
All right. I'm going with the real hero of Rogue One, Antok Merrick, leader of the Blue Squadron.
Nice.
All right. Without his team and his sacrifice, no way, Jyn, they're going to get blown up, destroyed, all that good stuff. But he's got himself the X-Wing. He has obviously the reason Blue Squadron. And I know you guys know this, but there was supposed to be a Blue Squadron in the original Star Wars movie, but it didn't show up on the blue screen. Like so they got rid of it completely, and then they brought it back in. It's kind of like how Red 5. As soon as that guy says Red 5 checking in, you're like, because you know what's about to happen to him. But yeah, so Antok Merrick, leader of the Blue Squadron leader, Rogue One. He's got his X-Wing, and just the fact that they flew down there knowing that they were going to close that force field around them, helping out all those other soldiers and things like that with air support, taking out tons of like TIE interceptors, and I don't even know what all ships are on there. But I thought that was a pretty good scene. I wouldn't mind seeing more of him, like some background story from him. I'm kind of surprised we haven't, given with the pilots and stuff. Maybe we see something if they make that movie Rogue Squadron. Who knows? But yeah, that's my number 5. Or I'm sorry, my number 4. And to me, I'll send it over to you.
Okay, my number 4 is Wedge.
Nice.
As Jimmy explained previously, I'm not going to go back through all his background again, but I thought that he definitely needed to be at least in the top 5 for
Yeah.
everything that he did. So
Oh, I left
Great
out the
show.
tow cables. That's a good shout there. I see it on your list. And the Hoth battle.
what?
The Hoth battle, the tow cables.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, that was one of my favorites.
Yeah. That's my favorite scene. I left it out. I'm not bad.
Way to go.
Good call. Good call. Good thing you're here, Timea.
Oh, no,
Thank you.
she's carrying us.
Yeah.
She's carrying us. Go for it, Taylor.
Okay.
My number 4 is going to be Chewbacca, because I'm just thinking of him as like the perfect co-pilot. Because when my favorite scene of Chewbacca is when he is just kind of sitting in the back seat waiting for Kira to figure her crap out, and he's just like, okay, and I'm just waiting, and she doesn't know what she's doing, and he's not even being a backseat driver. He's just like, all right, I'll just let her do it. And then finally she's like, do you want to do it? And he's just like, yeah, click 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 click, I know what I'm doing. So he's not a terrible backseat driver. He's also the mechanic from the Millennium Falcon, so he's always working on it. I don't know, I just think that he's kind of just always there for everyone, and even in like the sequels, he's like a great pilot there, and everybody loves him there, and I just think he would be a great co-pilot. And he's like, what is he, like 200 and something years old, and he's just, yeah, he's learning, and he was there when,
Yeah, by the time that, I mean, in Solo, you're 180
yeah.
years old. Then
Yeah, he'd been around.
He's old. He is old.
Yeah.
Cool. Next, I'll start us off with number 3. Again, I've got Wedge. I'm not going to go into too much background, but the only different thing I will mention that I absolutely loved about him was from the book Aftermath. How tough he was in that. You know, he's very, very resilient. Unfortunately, obviously, what happened with him wasn't great. But yeah, like you said, Jimmy, I'm not going to harp on too much about it, but all the battles that he went through, you know, the experience that he brings to any squadron that he's attached to be honest, and the fact he can fly all different ships again, as well as gun for different ships, like you mentioned with the Falcon. So again, not spending too long on it. Number 3 for me, Wedge. Who have you gone for, Timea?
Number 3, I have R2D2. Sorry, Chewie and Taylor. I think R2D2 is the best co-pilot because he's been through so many generations of pilots in general, and then obviously was co-pilot to the best. I won't speak ahead, but to a certain someone who rhymes with my mocker, and and he's also just so sassy, and I think like aside from just piloting, co-piloting, he's just been so helpful on like a ton of missions in general, like too many to even count, and he's just an elite droid.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, these things should be called. We talked about this once before, but like, it should be like the R2 Wars. Like, he's the only one who's been him and 3PO through everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a great pick.
It's a great shout.
So,
Okay.
My
Taylor?
number 3 is Grease Dritus. From the Fallen Order and Survivor game, the Jedi Survivor games, because I feel like I can just really relate with Grease. He's always kind of worried, like he doesn't want to get into trouble, but he's going to follow everyone in anyways. He's the good guy, you know. He likes food. I mean, I love food, okay? So when he's like, let's cook dinner, who's hungry? I'm thinking the same thing. I'm like, yes! And his ship has got like a full-out kitchen in it, okay? And that's like, I love it. And then also, because as you guys all know, I'm a gardener, so Grease likes Cal to pick up some seeds for him while he's out doing his errands, and then he can grow his own plants inside, and I love that too, because yeah, so I really like Grease, and he makes mistakes, and you know, he gambles and stuff, but he has his family. So Grease is my number 3. Jimmy, who is your number? Yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
all right. Yeah, he's a good one. I wish there was more flying involved in those
Yeah.
games.
Yeah, I think
Like
that,
getting to
Jimmy.
get to pilot the Mantis
Yeah.
would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
But my number 3, don't boo me, but it's going to be Anakin / Vader. And the reason he's at number 3 for me is because he does use the Force. But he's been a beast from being a little kid flying, racing pod racers.
He's the
which is
only human
awesome.
who can
Those
who
great
can
scenes
pod
with,
race, and he wins. So
yeah. Yeah, and then of course, they got him coming in and opening of Revenge of the Sith. We've got, or not Revenge of the Sith. Is it Revenge of the Sith?
Yeah.
When's he flying? Yeah. So they're flying, the ETA-2s, and of course he has his TIE Advance in the beginning of Star Wars: A New Hope, and lots of different stories about that. But I just put down pod racing, blowing up Trade Federation ships. As a Jedi, he's unmatched, and as Vader, he's straight up BA. So, but yeah, Anakin at number 3. I know I'm assuming that some people have him a little higher on their board, but I'm going to take some points away because it's not all natural. It's not all natural, and there's so we're going to go with that.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Good point. We're going to start with our second now. I'm straight off the bat with Anakin, and the reason I've ranked him slightly high is there's certain manoeuvres that he pulls. So I'll just start us off in Revenge of the Sith when he's knocking off the spider droids, just by the tip, but also when he's blasting them off Obi-Wan Starfighter as well, and that is a high risk maneuver in the middle of space. And speaking of high risk maneuvers, obviously he's blown up the Trade Federation's station and stuff like that. Yeah, granted. He's okay at pod racing. I wouldn't say he's brilliant, but we'll come on to that later on. What I'd like to point out, though, is his skills with just a normal speeder from Attack of the Clones.
Yeah.
Where he goes, where it goes straight and it just goes boom, down. And Obi-Wan's like literally in the seat holding on for dear life.
Laughing.
So for me, yeah, Anakin's loving life at that point. And I've also just kept it Anakin rather than Darth Vader because I don't see a lot great with Darth Vader to an extent. Yes, he appeared in A New Hope, but he appeared behind them for a start. But anyway, yeah. No, for me, number 2 is Anakin. I'm going to hand over this time to Taylor.
My number 2 pilot is Geode from the High Republic books. And if you guys don't know, Geode is an adult male Vintian from Vint, and he's more or less a sentient rock. So, but somehow he is able to pilot them through the Great Disaster, which is like ships that are explode in hyperspace. And their ship is the Vessel. He's not the captain, he's just the navigator. The captain is Leox Jossi, who describes him as a wild man and a party animal, but he's except when it comes down to navigation. And he's a rock of many emotions and complexities, and he's a ladies' man, as we learn. He's good with deals. He helped Orla get her ship for a better deal before she went off way seeking. And he's reflected blaster bolts and just killed people. And he's saved people from flying out of holes in ships. And it's hilarious. When the scene is Geode was speechless, and it's but he's a rock. He doesn't talk. And even the characters are what the heck? How does this rock get around? So, and I know he doesn't do a whole heck of a lot, but he makes me smile. He makes me smile so much reading about him and seeing him in the comics. So, sentient rock.
Yeah, every time he's in there, he's
so good, right?
Some people get real emotional about him, so mad about the fact that he's just this big giant rock that just kind of appears out of nowhere all the time.
I don't get it, but
yeah, I think it's pretty funny.
It's so good. And he's even flirting with Pika Adrian, and the husband's all mad. So good.
Yeah. I mean, his co-pilot, Leox, is Space
Yes, he
McConaughey,
is.
So he's all right.
You're right, Geode.
That's a good one.
What about you, Timea?
Cool.
What's your number 2?
My number 2 is Hera.
Ooh,
just because, yeah, she is just obviously such a talented. She's good in the Ghost, but she's good in all different types of ships too, which I feel can be really hard to master. And then on top of that, she doesn't have the Force. So, and she's been like on top of everything, she just likes flying. Like it's been a passion
It's
of
a
hers since she
feeling.
was a little kid. So like on top, like she's not just, yeah, it's yeah, she's just. It's like it's nice to see that she's so good at it, but it's also like her passion. So like she's good because she's invested and like wanted to practice and undo all that stuff herself. Not just like it's not just let me just sit behind a ship and I'm immediately
Yeah.
good at this, kind of thing. I don't know. I love her. So yeah.
Okay, nice. Does that wrap everyone up? Have you been,
No,
Jimmy?
I got to go for number 2.
Go for it.
My
We'll
number
wait for
2
Sorry.
is going to be Chewbacca. So
They got it. They got it.
Okay.
So wait, what?
You said you got to go for a
You're
number
going
2,
for
yeah?
number 2.
Oh, good lord! All right,
We got him. We got him. We got him, girls.
all right. I
Go
put
ahead.
him as number 2 because he makes Han and Rey both look good. Like you said, he is always getting them 2 out of scraps. I'm giving it to Chewie because he makes them both look good. And one of my favorite scenes, Taylor, you kind of described part of it when he sits there and he helps. But when he sits down beside Han for the very first time in the Millennium
Yeah.
Falcon, like I get goosebumps every time
Yeah.
I see that, thinking about like all the adventures are about to start to go on and how much trouble he's going to get him out of constantly.
Oh,
So,
God, yeah.
and then you see, you think about that scene, and then you think, you flash forward to, you fast forward to the Force Awakens when he's
Yeah.
giving them sass, and they're flying together, and then of course without missing a beat, he just comes in and he steps in for Rey and helps her
Yeah.
constantly. He's just kind of like the ultimate co-pilot, despite what Timea and Commander Taylor say. We should have the best co-pilot conversation next time. This is pretty good.
That would have been a good one.
But yeah, of course, with the Falcon, I would be curious to see him flying like a different ship, like a Wookiee-sized ship
Yeah,
of some
right.
kind. But yeah, Chewbacca is going to take number 2, but he's number 1 in my heart. So there we go.
Nice. Nice. I'm surprised at that, to be fair with you, Jimmy. I thought it was going to be a number 1, if I'm honest.
Well, he doesn't really fly it that often by himself.
Yeah.
So I just kind of gave him credit for everything he does for everybody else. And
Yeah. Fair enough. Cool. So now then, we are on our last one. So who is going to be our number 1 pilot? Now for this, Taylor's going to start off. Then it's going to be Jimmy. Then Timea, and then it's going to be me. Obviously, you guys can't see it. Listening or watching us on YouTube. However, I have a secret one, which is going to tie in just nicely with Timea's, and you will see why. So Taylor, who is your number 1 pilot?
My number 1 pilot is going to be Poe Dameron. And at first, I didn't really think, like, I wrote him on my piece of paper beforehand, but I really thought about it, and it was like, you know what? I read what was the book? I've got it written down, the Free Fall book, Poe Dameron Free Fall. And you learn about his history, and like his parents were both in the rebellion fighting against the Empire, and his mom was an amazing pilot, and she died crashed in duty, so his dad doesn't want him to fly, but it's in his heart to fly like his mom, and he wants to fly, and he destroys his mom's like last ship like right after she's gone, which is horrible. But I just really liked his history and how hard he tried to get to where he was, and he did make some mistakes, but he was a good enough pirate to be a spice runner on Kijimi and survive, so and get out of it. Right? Yeah. And he was able to fly an X-wing like no problem on the first
nice.
time. Like, whoa! So that's cool. Or tie. Oh God.
Fair enough.
Duh.
Jimmy, who you got?
All right, number 1 coming in is going to be Hera. She doesn't have the Force to help her. She can fly anything. Like Timea said it as well. The Ghost. We've seen her in X-wings. We've seen her. I hate the B-wing. I think it's a pretty dumb ship. But the scene in Rebels when she test flights it for the first time, just an awesome scene. And then how many times has she shown up? And you think about like at the end of Rogue One, you see the Ghost there. That's her. She's probably had her hand in helping them do that. And who knows? I don't know how long Twi'leks live, but is that her helping out? On Exegol as well, or is that Jason? But yeah, I just think not having the Force And from what we've seen from, now the Ahsoka show and, all the seasons of Rebels, and of course, just the different stuff she's done, even being like the commander you talk to in the video game as well. I think that Hera takes the top spot for me. Just, and the biggest reason is she flies so many different ships throughout that series, and to me, you said it perfectly. Like, she can hop in anything and make it a deadly weapon, and save you and do all that stuff. So yeah, my number one is going to definitely be Hera. From easy pick for me. I mean, she was the first one I put down.
Okay. Timea?
Mine is Anakin Skywalker. And basically, I know everyone is like, oh, he can't be the best pilot because he uses the Force. And people are, you can't count the Force because he's okay. But listen, we are talking about a world where the Force exists in everything, in every living being, right? The Force exists, so we're going to use it, okay? And also, yeah, he has the Force, but then why aren't all the other Jedis also the best pilots in the galaxy?
Right there.
That is a valid point. Preach to me.
No one can tell me anything. He's the best.
Timea is going off. She is going off.
But yeah, that concludes my rant.
Nice. I like this because it's gone from Hera with no Force abilities, ace pilot, to Anakin, ace pilot with Force abilities. Now mine, there's a reason I wanted to go after Timea. So, my pilot, Sebulba.
Oh no.
The best pilot in the galaxy. Hear me out, right?
Oh boy.
Pod racing, Phantom Menace, absolutely unbeaten until Anakin cheated and had to run him off the track. Fair point?
That's part of pod racing.
Fair point. Next thing he did, he carried on pod racing after that, again going unbeaten. He was seen in the Clone Wars handing out autographs as well. So he carried on pod racing even after getting cheated out of the Boonta Eve race. Right. Not only that, but he managed to take down a Star Destroyer when he was in the middle of a race with Lando Calrissian on top of everything else. Just because Lando was after some information from him. Yeah. So for me, Sebulba is the best pilot in the galaxy.
Oh my gosh. I think I heard that Sebulba started he joined a different kind of space race as well, like an even harder one than pod racing, and he was doing really well in it. I didn't read that far into.
He went all around the galaxy, unbeaten. There is no better pilot.
But he's in the background. Here you go.
He's in the background. That's irrelevant.
Any honorable mentions for anybody? I'm thinking Rio Durant. Rio is going to be my honorable mention.
Mine. Timea had a really good point. Timea had a really good point with R2D2. Like that, if I'd thought about it a bit more, I think he'd have definitely made my top 5. Like what he's been through. Honorable mention wise, mate, I'd have probably chucked in there Nien Nunb, Lando's co-pilot, because he was in pretty much everything as well. He was quite a talented pilot.
Does he survive Exegol? Do they ever come out and say? Because they show the Tantus falling. And then
probably
never really kind of tell us
go down with their ship.
If he survives or not. I mean, but yeah. Anybody else with an honorable mention? Anyone that you sit right outside your top 5?
I wanted to remind everyone of Porkins, rest in peace. Here we go. Jack Tano Porkins was a trader and a pilot from Bestine 5, who, along with the other Bestins, was forced to abandon his homeworld when the Galactic Empire chose it as a site for a new military base. Seeking the opportunity to strike back at the Empire, Porkins joined the Alliance to restore the Republic. Rest in peace.
And then he died at the very first battle.
What about you, Timea? You got any honorable mentions?
Yeah, Poe is sitting right outside the chart for me.
Yeah. There's rumors that he's force sensitive because he grew up by a life, or what are those trees called? A force tree. What is it? It's escaping me. But in the Poe Dameron comic, which I have them, but I haven't read them.
I've got
supposedly people assume that he has some force abilities because of growing up by the
I've
force
got all
tree.
3 volumes. I should read him now.
Yavin, right? He grew up on Yavin, I think.
Yeah, it was Yavin. Yeah.
Yeah. So awesome. Well, that was a pretty good
There we
discussion,
go.
folks.
Yeah,
Jack
wicked.
is wrong, but they're all wrong except for me, but it's fine.
Well, thank you very much, Timea, for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure. Hopefully, we can have you on again sometime. Before we say our goodbyes, what we like to do is like a little, so we're looking for like a quote at the end. So we'll give you a little bit of time to think of a Star Wars quote to chuck out at us. Before that, if you want again, just chuck out any social medias, any promotions, where any of the listeners can find you. Timea, the floor is yours.
Okay. Yeah, just YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, all that stuff. Timea Smiles, same username everywhere. If you want to find me, do different stuff on all of them, so there should be something for you there.
Awesome.
Awesome, and I'm sure anyone visiting Disney World will definitely bump into her at some point because she's there pretty much 24/7.
Basically a
Yes,
character there.
if you see me, please say hi to me. I had people tell me that they saw me, but they didn't want to interrupt me because I was videoing. But that's what editing is for. Please interrupt me and say hi. I want to meet people.
Fun.
Very cool.
Awesome. Again, Timea, thank you very much for coming on. So, as always then, quick Star Wars quote. Taylor?
For light and life.
For myself, McClunky.
Timea, do you have a quote?
Yeah, your focus determines your reality.
That's a good one.
Nice.
Very good. Right there.
Bam.
Oh,
Feel
love
my
that.
arm. So, and for all of us and our special guest Timea, check her out on YouTube. You're getting ready to go down there, watch all of her videos. For all of us, we have spoken. See you guys next week.
See you later.
Bye.